Hello, this is Dr. Vail Garvin, President and CEO of the Central Bucks Chamber of Commerce. I am really proud today to be with Kyle McCoy, who's the CEO of the Bucks County Historical Society. Kyle, thank you for hosting us in this gorgeous library.
Well, Vale, I'm very happy that you're here,
Thank
and I
you.
really don't need too much prompting to show off the library here at
This
Mercer.
is exquisite.
It's
I
a
can
beautiful
just
room.
feel the sense of history. Talk to us about what this library represents, what you represent,
Well,
please.
this actually is my favorite room in the Mercer Museum. This was the room I was interviewed in. This was the room that I took to constantly, and it turns out this is Henry's original
Oh,
library.
that's
And so
interesting.
the books have been placed by Henry. They're all cataloged.
Wow.
You can see the beautiful tiles that are
Yes.
on the ceiling and the columns. And it just, to me, epitomizes Henry Mercer in every one of his aspects. I just love this room.
Oh, well, tell us about you, first of all.
Okay.
I know that you've been running the Historical Society for 5 years now. Actually, I think you've been in the business 25 years.
Yeah, I've been here
So,
five
what
years.
brought you here to Bucks County?
I
We're
had a
so
very
grateful.
long traveled museum career. I started in Arizona at the Arizona
Okay.
Historical Society in Tucson. And at the time, that historical society ran 7 museums in 4 different
Oh,
cities.
my goodness.
So I was traveling a
You
lot.
are steeped
I was
in
traveling a
museum
lot.
world.
I was and loved it.
Yeah.
But then I had the opportunity to work for a mentor of mine in Indianapolis. And so when I was recruited to go to the Indiana Historical Society, I took the opportunity and I was there 4 years.
Okay.
And then by the time I got to Indianapolis, I decided, okay, this isn't quite where I need to be. And then the opportunity came here at the Bucks County Historical Society. And frankly, I had never heard of this place. And so I did what everybody does, I cyberstalked and I saw all these fabulous photos of the
Yes.
museums and of Doylestown. And I was just so curious as to what was this all about. And so I put my resume in the ring,
And
and
here you
and here
are.
I am. 5 years later, here I am.
Well, congratulations, and we're just thrilled to have you here. I mean, 5 years, it's great. So, talk to us about what this room represents, what Henry Mercer represents to Bucks County, and the history that people would really enjoy if they came to visit.
And I thank you for asking that because so many people know us as different things. Some people know us as the Bucks County Historical Society, some know us
Others,
as the Mercer Museum, and some know us as Fonthill Castle, and not everybody knows that we are all the same entity. And so I think in Henry Mercer's true legacy, we have the best of all the worlds. As the Bucks County
you do.
Historical Society,
Yeah.
we are responsible for the history of the entire county,
Yeah.
of collecting and telling the stories. And then here in Central Bucks, of course, are these 3 fabulous buildings that Henry Mercer built and left as a legacy.
Yeah.
And so,
Mm.
basically between 1908 and 1916, he built the 3 buildings that are um, so big on the landscape here. Fonthill Castle, the Moravian Pottery and Tile Works, and then the Mercer Museum. And that's really what Henry was all about. Was he really understood his legacy and how to put it forward. And one of the things that I thought was really great, and this quote I just love of him, on when they were opening the Mercer Museum, he was giving a speech and he was telling everybody, um, even though you all might not appreciate it now, the citizens of Doylestown, you may not appreciate this now, but your children and grandchildren will.
How
And
how prescient is that?
he was
Mm.
so aware that people might not get what he was doing now,
Yeah.
but that years down the line, people would really understand. And that's exactly where we are right now. I also think the second part of that quote is really interesting because he likens this to a tree. He says, here is this organization, and It's a newly planted tree, and I'm asking you to take care of it and water it and prune it and make sure that its branches spread all over, not just this little town of Doylestown, but over the county,
Mm-hmm.
the country, even the world. And so he was looking down the line at what a great legacy for
What types
community.
of things does he have here in the museum?
He built this museum for the collections that he already had.
How interesting.
He was aware that the Industrial Revolution was happening, very worried that
Yes.
people were going to forget about handmade goods, hand tools, and so he started collecting those just in case the machines took over and people
Can you
couldn't
imagine?
remember.
And I hear that, well, from what I understand, Henry Mercer had a great sense of humor. Can you talk a little about that? As I read about it, I thought, wow, fascinating.
Yes, I wish I could remember some of the exact quotes from the books, but his library is extensive. He read a lot of books, and we know this because in the margins of a lot of the pages, he couldn't help himself but write about it.
Yeah.
And some of them are very comical about how displeased he was with the books. And
That's
A Farewell to Arms was actually one of the books that he really didn't like, and compared it to a bunch of flies in a glass.
Dead
or
flies.
something. Yes, it was something like that. But so that's how we know he had a sense of humor.
Oh, and then the concrete castle. Oh my goodness, I know a lot of children like going there. Do you do something at Halloween there?
We actually, right now in the summer, we run a summer camp, a wizarding summer camp that
Oh,
we've
that's
kind of resembles Harry Potter, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so, yes, the kids are infatuated with the castle. They come here and they spend their summer camp and learn about Mercer history, the history of the county, and they get to do witch spells and wizarding
That's
things
really
and
cool.
potions.
That's
So it's
really
a fun
cool.
way for them to learn
Yeah.
history in a disguised manner.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kyle, talk to me about rhythm and Mercer.
Yes, we just opened a brand new exhibit in June called Everyday Rhythms. And it's all about the music and musical instruments and how people of all cultures have used it and heard music. Um, it's all about the instruments that have been built and played here in Bucks County, actually the whole Delaware Valley area. And we also have some of Henry Mercer's private collections.
What would those be?
Well, we have a lot of his instruments, but the best part about this that I think is we have listening stations. So you can go and hear some of the music
Oh,
or
I
some of the
like
instruments
that.
that you may not know what they sound like. And Henry really liked listening to Irish music. And my favorite station is the Irish Music
Ooh,
Station.
that would be fun.
You can go there and press it and listen to the actual music that Henry Mercer listened to. And if you press number 3, that is Geese on the Bog. And it was digitized from his actual 78 record that he had in his own collections. It was a 1916 recording. We digitized that so you can actually listen to the exact recording.
Wow, that's impressive.
Isn't that fabulous?
I can't wait to go down and listen to it. Talk to us a little bit about Font Hill, the building.
Font Hill was Henry's home. It's 44 rooms, and it's exquisitely decorated with tiles on the inside. Tiles on the floor, on the walls, on the columns, on the ceilings. It is truly an art feast for your eyes. It absolutely is. And imagining him living there those years is just beyond my imagination sometimes. But we do have tours there. We do take tours through. Not all 44 rooms are on the tours, but we do have some occasional tours around the holidays and in the evenings where we explore things that are not necessarily
That
on
makes
the
it
tour.
fun.
Yeah.
And then you do weddings there.
We do weddings, yes,
It's a
absolutely.
very active place.
Well, it's one of the iconic buildings
Yes.
in the area. So we just brought back our old-fashioned 4th of July. We were forced to cancel that in the year 20 and 21 We all know what happened then.
Yeah, for sure.
But we were actually brought back the old-fashioned Fourth this year, and we have food vendors and music, and there's a bike parade for the children where they
Oh,
decorate the bikes,
that's cool.
sack races, the old-fashioned wheelbarrow
Huh.
races, and we welcomed over 1,000 people this year.
That's incredible.
And
And I know
so,
during the winter they go sledding down.
yes, they sled at the
This is the
Mercer.
place
Yes,
right
absolutely.
here.
Yes.
It's awesome. Don't you have some other great events coming up? Beer Fest?
Yes,
That
if you want
tell
to drink a few beers
so the
and help
business
us,
community can come join you here for Beer Fest.
yes, that's at Fon Hill Castle.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of local beer vendors as well as
That's neat.
food vendors, and all of the proceeds help us with our education and community programs, as well as for the preservation and conservation of the building itself. So, like I said, you can come have a few beers, have some food, and you'd be
Oh,
supporting Fon Hill Castle in the meantime.
Kyle, you're a joy to talk to. Your enthusiasm is on display. It's awesome. We're so grateful that you came to Bucks County. Is there anything you want to say to the business community before we close?
Well, I do want to impress that even though we are a museum nonprofit, I like to explain to people that nonprofit is a tax credit. We are
Mhm.
still a business.
Yes.
And we like collaborations and partners with as many businesses as we can. Right now, we are partnering with the
Mm.
County Theater to do movies on the Mercer ground.
Oh, I
So,
like that.
yeah, and there's
Huh.
plenty of other partnerships that we would love to. We are so community focused, and I think the businesses in this area are also.
Yeah, they are. That's what I love about Bucks
Yes, I
County.
agree.
Thank you, Kyle McCoy. We really appreciate your time today. And that's the end of this edition of Chamber Chat.